This is the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. And 3, 2, 1. And welcome everybody to this episode of the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. I am your host, John Allen. How y'all doing? I hope everybody is well out there. Let me start off by saying, if you are listening to me on an audio podcast platform, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it may be, please look at the description of this episode, and there you will see where you can donate. Yeah, donate. I'm looking for support. I want to keep this great content coming at you, and it helps with donations. Check out the description of this episode and click in on those links and give what you can, even if it's only $1 a month. $1 goes a long way if there's a few thousand of you, right? And if you're if you're watching me on YouTube, great. That's where I want you to be. Look at this face. Look at that face. That's where I want you to be. Remember to click subscribe and click the little bell icon. That'll give you a notification every time I release an episode. So today's episode, I'm speaking with a guy. This is his third appearance on my podcast. I've got him on the telephone. This is Fredrik Walmann, my great musician friend. Hey, Fredrik, how are you?
Hell yeah. Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I love the confidence. You said, hell yeah. I like the confidence. I like it.
I wish I could be on video as well, but
Yeah. We had some technical difficulties. It was supposed to be a video feed from your end, but yeah, that's what happens. Technical difficulties, but we want to make sure, or I want to make sure, and I'm sure you do too, make sure that people can hear about something exciting that's about to happen for you. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, tomorrow, or I shouldn't say tomorrow maybe, but Friday the 28th of May, my third single is coming out. It's called Stay on My Mind. It's a duet. It's a duet with a very talented singer called Anna.
Yeah.
She sounds like Lana Del Rey, which is pretty cool. And for those of the people listening that I've already shown or that have already heard a song, I think it's probably their favorite of mine, the three.
Okay.
For all of them. So it's pretty exciting. We'll see how it goes when it comes out.
So you're getting better. So you're getting better as your musical life ages.
Definitely. I could tell by just putting more hours in the studio, working now more efficiently than ever before. Before I could do a chorus like 40 times just to get the right notes in place.
Yes.
And now this time it was like, okay, let's just do it. I know exactly what to do. I'm just going to do it now. Okay. So, and it worked. And it sounds much better. So it's pretty cool.
What do you think is the reason that it's easier now? Is it just the process of repetition? You just get more comfortable in the studio, or is it that your musicianship, your actual skills with playing and singing have gotten better? What's the reason behind things becoming a little bit easier for you?
I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. And now I stream, as we talked about on the second episode, I stream now on Reddit almost every day for like an hour, 2 hours a day. And I play with a studio microphone and monitoring to my ears with the reverb and stuff. So I get a lot of that's the same method we use when we are in the studio. I'm more used to singing with the monitoring, doing the right notes, all of that. And also I got to know the producer better, and I know I know more of everything we can do in the studio now.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier.
And what I find fascinating is your work ethic. You say you're playing every single day, performing, streaming on Reddit every day for an hour or more. That's basically, well, not basically. I mean, you are having a concert every single day, and you can't help but get better. The more often you do that, the better you're going to get.
It's been really important to me just to not lose that skill.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to do that when you have
Oh,
no place to play,
it's
or
very easy. Yeah.
you need to sit alone, and it's much easier to put on Netflix or watch something on
Yeah.
YouTube than to
Yeah.
just sit and play through a whole set one or two times a day.
Yeah.
If I were to train my biceps every day for an
Yeah.
hour, I'd probably be having the biggest biceps in Austin. So,
There you go. There you go. You know, I feel that whole thing about what happens when you don't perform. I've had all these shoulder surgeries, so I haven't been able to pick up my guitar as often as I want. And a
right.
couple of days ago, I had a television crew from NRK here at my home.
Ooh.
They followed me around all day filming me. And for part of this little thing that they wanted, this portrait that they wanted to do of me, they wanted me to play in my studio. And I picked up my guitar and you know, my shoulder starts hurting, my arm starts cramping up. And all I could do was just finger a couple three chords for about 20 seconds and then just put it down. So
that's all I need.
Yeah, that's all I need. That's all. Well, that's all they got. I don't know if they needed more, but that's all they got anyway. But that thing about performing, that thing about practicing your craft is so important. So I can only imagine how much better you've gotten. I mean, you were already good when I first met you. But you've had countless hours of performances just in the last 6 months.
And I analyze a lot of the stuff I put on live.
You go back and watch it?
I do, and I read all the comments and stuff, and then I see their suggestions. I take their comments into consideration. I also go back and watch like a stream from a year ago. I did that the other day, and I was like, okay, I've progressed a bit, even though it's like losing weight. You don't see it in the mirror after 2 weeks, but after a year, maybe
then
if
you'll
you've
start
done the
noticing.
right stuff.
Yeah, then you'll start noticing. You know, when I first met you, and for quite some time since I've known you, you've been, you know, humility, being humble is always a good thing. Because it keeps you grounded and it keeps you always pushing to perfect yourself. But I think you had too much humility. You maybe didn't realize how good you were. But it sounds like now, just in the way you're formulating these things that you're saying about yourself and what you've been doing, you seem to be a more confident performer now, a more confident songwriter and musician. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I met up with one of the other guys that is doing a lot of the same stages as me yesterday, and he also had played almost every day for the whole pandemic. We didn't really see each other for the last half year or so. And I was very excited for him that he was still, I mean, he kept his sword nice and shiny. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And we can just go back to playing where we did before, and we'll be better than ever before, which is awesome. It makes me want to play even more.
Sure. How do you think it's going to be this summer as far as the live venues? Do you think things are going to open up to the point to where you can actually get out there and create an audience outside of that Reddit, that social media audience that you have, which is a big audience, and that audience can be quite giving, but I'm sure you want to, you want to smell the sweat of your audience.
I want to see some people. I don't want to see a number on the screen anymore.
Exactly.
I want to
do you think
meet someone.
Do you think it'll get to that point throughout the summer?
Throughout this summer, I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, I think it's a very difficult thing to discuss because you don't know really how it's going to look in 2 weeks or a month or even like next week.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with playing Reddit this summer. But I think until everyone's vaccinated for a second time, right?
Yeah.
things will be stay
Yeah.
closed.
Have you gotten
You can
vaccinated?
no.
Not yet. No. No.
I'm only 24 though, so I can.
Oh, that's right.
I jumped ahead on the list. That was perfect.
Hey, you young guys, you guys can get it and you'll be fine the next day. It's the old people
Yeah.
like me that have to worry about the vaccine.
Well, I mean, I know one guy who got it,
Do you?
and he
Yeah.
said, if I didn't know that it was Corona, I would have went to school because I wasn't really that sick. He said, but it differs from person to person. I think it's after Trump, this is the most discussed topic ever,
Yeah.
and I don't think I have anything meaningful to say that someone else hadn't said before.
Yeah. Well, no, I just hope that the people who want to get vaccinated get it as soon as possible, and I hope that society goes back to normal when it is safe to go back to normal. I'm not someone
How's this year been for you then? How's it been the last since
um,
March?
Thanks for asking. Nobody ever asked me that. There's a reason why your the first episode I had with you is number 3 on my all-time list for listens and downloads. It's because you're such a nice guy and you say things like that, like asking me how I've been. No, thanks for asking. I've been okay. It's been a struggle. You know, I can't, of course, this whole thing with my son passing away from a heroin overdose has weighed very heavy on my mind. But considering that, I cannot say that I have been doing bad this past year. This podcast, you know, talking with people like you has really lifted me forward. It really has. I mean, that's the reason why I started this podcast, was to lift myself out of being depressed about my son's passing. You know, I like to talk with people who motivate me or inspire me, people who I can learn something from. And you fit that category. You and your musicianship inspires me. It moves me. I'm very interested in you're genuinely interested in your journey. So talking with you and talking with people like you is what has gotten me through this past year. But the whole thing with Corona in itself, you know, I've been sitting at home, working from home, isolated. So I kind of feel that whole thing about not having that direct contact with my friends, not having direct contact with my stand-up comedy audience.
Yeah.
I really miss that. But it's all manageable because of my family. I've got a beautiful wife, and I have this podcast, and my family through the podcast. So that's what's carried me through.
Yeah, it's therapy.
It is exactly.
Talking it's very, very rarely nowadays that I just talk to someone for, like, I don't know how long we'll go for, but an hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't care.
Well,
it's very rare for me to do it because I'm always watching something on Netflix or on my phone or something while someone is talking.
Well,
I'm bad at that.
I think it's a good thing to find the opportunity to have a real, genuine conversation where there's nothing else going on. I don't know how you feel when you're in front of the camera doing a performance, an hour-long performance on Reddit. But I can tell you, as someone who watches your performance, I feel like it is, you know, it's not a conversation per se, but it is a human to human connection. And when I'm watching you perform, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not thinking about my son. I'm not thinking about you know, how to get more exposure for my podcast. I'm not thinking about anything that stresses me out. I'm right there in that moment watching you perform.
But and that's so cool that you say, because that's the goal.
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to achieve.
Mission accomplished. Because I can't help but think that everyone else who is watching you feels some measure of the same thing, where they're there in that moment. But what's it like for you? are you concerned? Are you thinking about, oh, I hope this sounds right, or oh, I hope I don't sing off key, or are you relaxed and 100% in the moment when you're performing? Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm usually very relaxed when I'm performing.
Confident.
At the start of the stream, yeah, I'm confident. And I check that the sound is working okay, and then just go from there. I have a set list that I play through. I know what song is next. If there's a lot of people watching and I see that the comments are just rolling in, I will just say, I'm not going to spend time looking at my phone. I have 3,000 people watching. So I'm going to go through the comments, and then I just improvise, say something. Maybe I'll read one comment and then talk for like a minute about that. And then I play a song or two, and the songs, it's like muscle memory, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends. It depends on how my voice is feeling that day. If my voice is off, then my guitar playing is worse, and you know how that goes. It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
But I can control the environment very easily, so it sounds the same every time. And you have really good sound in your performances. So you just have your microphone running into a DAW, into Cubase or Logic or whatever, and then from there. I have the tablet that goes to a Rode sound card.
Yeah.
And that goes to a Boss vocal performer, which makes me able to put on reverb,
compression.
Yeah, I use it only for reverb. And it has a funny robot voice that I use sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
But nothing else in that, just to make it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I always sing with reverb anywhere else. So why shouldn't I already? I think it sounds much better.
And then what are you using for your in-ear monitor?
I'm just, the basic Scarlett headset. Yeah. Everyone buys it. They start producing music. It's like the first go-to headset. It works perfectly.
So in other words, for any other musicians who are listening to this, who are because I know a lot of people, when they start thinking about the technical aspects of a live online performance or even a home recording process, for those people, I just want to say it doesn't cost a lot of money. You don't have to be a technical wizard to be able to do these things. It costs surprisingly little money to have a sound card, a microphone, and a good set of headphones for in-ear monitoring. But that scares away a lot of potential musicians, potential performers. The technical side of it scares them away, and keeps them from getting started.
Yeah, for the past 3 years, though, streaming is just exploded.
Yeah.
So I think there will be a market for streaming musicians. Like today, there is a streaming market for gamers, or I mean, you can go on Twitch and watch someone walk through a town, just film in front of them with donations for thousands of kroners an hour.
I was just talking. Let me back up. Who's making thousands of kroners an hour? What did you say now?
Streamers on Twitch. If you have the audience, then you're good to go.
I'm sorry. If you have what? If you have what?
If you have enough of an audience, you're good to go.
And what is a good sized audience on Twitch? I've never been on Twitch.
I'm not that much on Twitch either, but I know. You know Ninja, right?
Yeah.
The Fortnite gamer.
Yeah.
I think when he was at peak, he made like almost $500,000 a day just from streaming, just from donations.
Because when you stream on Twitch, it's based on a donation platform, right? People can, people can donate to, pay to watch your stream, right?
Yeah. So also they have advertisements, and so when you click a stream, I think if you're registered or something, we shouldn't talk about something we don't know about. But okay, let's try this. Uh, you can sub also to a Twitch channel, and you pay like $5 or so every month.
Yeah.
Um, like a Patreon.
I see.
I think that's
Yeah.
bigger now, but you can also give away subs. So let's say I have $50 and I want 10 people to subscribe to your Twitch channel, and I just buy 10 subs and then give it away. So then there's 10 more people that need to go in and cancel their subscription until next month before you get $50 more.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking about switching over to Twitch.
I was just going to say, what's keeping you from getting on Twitch? I mean, if you have 3,000 people at a time watching you on Reddit, what if you had 3,000 people who were, $1 is not a lot of money. What if you had 3,000 people giving you $1?
There's very few streamers on Twitch that have many concurrent viewers.
Okay. So there's a different audience, a different size of the potential audience then. But
because on Reddit,
it's something to think about. If you were able to make it on Twitch and you had a decent size audience, there's money to be made.
I have some plans for the stream that I've talked a lot about to different people in the last weeks. I want to get a better camera. I want even I can have 2 cameras, and I can just have a foot switch between the cameras, set up the lighting. I need to get a laptop.
Yeah. As we
found out earlier.
Yeah.
So I can put on overlays, so I can have like a QR code you scan, and you're on PayPal, and just write a number that you want to give and press, just to make the process as easy as possible for the people watching.
So,
and I'm not streaming to make money. I'm streaming to try to build an audience. But,
but we see now,
do this.
Yeah, but see, we talked about that before. Of course, you never want to lose your musicianship. You don't want to overshadow the art. But put it to you this way: if you had a financial situation to where you could focus 100% of the time on your art, that's better than the current situation, because as it is now, you have other responsibilities which require money. And you see what I'm saying? So So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of talking about my interest in making money through my art, because I want that money to support my art.
Why hide it though? I don't know. I however this goes, I won't ever be the guy with the ball mane sweater, or like you won't see me wearing leather pants anywhere.
Oh gosh! But everybody was looking forward to seeing you in leather pants.
I'm sorry to break it to you, everyone.
But, you guys heard it first here on the Comin On podcast with John Allen. There will be no leather pants on Fredrik Walmann.
Well, it's too early to say now, though. You never know.
You never know. I don't think you will be corrupted by success. I really don't think you will be corrupted by success. You are such a humble and laid back guy. I don't care how successful you get or how much money you end up making. I can't see it changing your personality at all. You
can always call me John,
Yeah.
I'm always there. That's fine. No, I mean, if I started making a little bit of money off the streams, then the potential of the streams gets better as well.
Sure, exactly.
I can do more. I can have guests on the stream. If I have enough money to purchase another microphone, then I can have someone.
Yeah,
and it all goes into the stream again, or into the project.
Exactly. It's like with this podcast. And this is why I kind of raised my interest when you started talking about Twitch and the possibilities there, because just today, before I got on the telephone with you, I was sitting on the porch with Snoopy, my lovely wife, and we were talking about the podcast and where it started and where it is now and where we wanted to go. Where I wanted to go. And she suggested upgrading to some wireless microphone system and some sort of handheld camera or a camera that we could put on a stand. And I can actually do my podcast outdoors if I'm on a walk up in the mountains or in the woods, or if I'm walking with my guest.
Yeah, that's a cool concept.
And I never would have thought about that, but she suggested that. Thankfully, my podcast has grown to the point where I can start considering things like that. But the possibilities expand when the profitability of the podcast expands. And that's why I talk about the importance of the finances in art. Finances shouldn't overshadow the art, but the finances can certainly support the art, and it can certainly open up more opportunities for us to perform our art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about Twitch, I don't know why I've never really thought about Twitch. That might be a good platform to put my podcast and possibly get some subscriptions.
It's not difficult to achieve a level of production where it looks professional.
Yeah, see, and my maybe that's where I'm struggling the most. Well, I'm not even struggling because I'm fine with my level of production, but my videos are just, it's just a still shot of me in my studio talking with my guest.
That works perfectly though. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts.
In a podcast format, people just want to see, they just, look at Joe Rogan. There's nothing fancy about his video. It's just a video of him sitting in his studio with his guest.
I saw his studio got a lot of, nobody liked the studio, the new UFO studio.
I'm getting used to it. And he has made some changes. It's not as crazy looking as it was when he first started in this new studio. He's kind of toned it down a little bit to where it looks better. And I'm kind of used to it now.
What do you think about everyone going to Austin, Texas?
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. It doesn't surprise me.
Have you been there?
I've driven through there when I was a truck driver after my time in the U.S. Marines. I've been through Austin several times. It's a great city, and the people there are extremely friendly. It's like a liberal oasis in the middle of that ultra-conservative Texas. So I understand.
That's what they say.
Yeah, and I understand why the artists and the stand-up people, the musicians are going there. Look, I'll put it to you this way. I'm not a person who gets in line behind Trump's denial of the seriousness of COVID. I know it's a serious thing. I understand why Los Angeles shut down. I think it was smart to shut down Los Angeles. But when it was shut down, of course, there were a lot of artists who couldn't perform. And if we look at the stand-up comedy world, a lot of them found ways around that. Some of them started streaming from their home. Some of them started just doing solo videos and putting that out on YouTube of their comedy. And for a very few of these stand-up comics, it worked very well. But for most of them, it didn't work very well. So then they started thinking, and this is what Joe Rogan did. He started thinking, hey, I can't function in this situation, in this shut down city of Los Angeles. What can I do? Well, I have the money and the means to move to, look at Austin. Things are open there. People can do more of what they want. And the whole issue of whether it was safe to do, that's a whole nother issue. But I
think Ron White was there before.
Yeah. But the fact is that you were able to have access to a live audience in Austin because things were not shut down there like they were in Los Angeles. So I totally understand why people are moving there. I mean, Joe Rogan, he's blazing a trail. There's so many comedians who have followed him there. He's building a club for stand-up comedy. I think they're going to have music there as well. So I think it's a great development. All it's doing is helping artists. It's giving them another place to practice their art. I think it's a beautiful thing.
I watched this show on YouTube called Kill Tony. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redband, and a guest. So they They pull a name out of a bucket and you get 60 seconds to do stand up in front of
It's a
Tony
great,
Hinchcliffe, which you know,
it's a great concept.
it's so cool because you get people from like every walk of life. You can there's homeless people, there are rich people. I think they even had a murderer on once.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, yeah. They've had people who are just people who should really be locked up in a mental health institution, but they're there at that they're there to perform on Kill Tony, and you never know who you're going to get.
They were at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Now they're in Austin.
Yeah,
and I think probably 50 or 60% of the people that comes up on stage and they talk to them after the 60 seconds, they'll tell you, I moved to Austin within the last 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a real scene that's happening there. It's going to be interesting to see what Los Angeles does when things start opening up again, because I don't know that Los Angeles Hollywood scene is going to be very meaningful.
It feels like it's kind of dying, isn't it?
It sure does. And, and then there's the issue of the income tax that people pay in California. People are saying they've had enough. They want to, I'm not against income tax. I mean, the government has to have its income. But I also understand that if there's a place like Texas, specifically Austin, Texas, where you can go and, you don't have that kind of tax, and you are an artist, a performer, you're trying to make a living, and here's a better opportunity. I totally understand why people are moving. I support that. I mean, it's going to be a new mecca for creativity and art in America.
I would think also for now that the apartments rent it's cheaper than in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
the living situation might be better for some people.
It
they
is,
get more
yeah.
space.
Yes,
less,
and that might
less
change.
Traffic as well.
And that might change. Property values might change to where it becomes quite expensive to live in Austin. But from what I understand at the moment, it's all around a great place to be, especially if you are an artist of some sort. Maybe we should go and take a trip
I would
to
love
Austin.
to go to Austin.
Yeah.
When things open up again, I think we should do that. I'm going to start. We can go and Kill Tony. You can do a minute, and then Black Pumas is from Austin as well.
Yes.
I can go to their place and play some music with them.
Great band, Black Pumas. I love their music.
Black Pumas. I think I went onto their Instagram, and you were the only one. Only person that I'm following on Instagram that's also following them.
Is it?
I think you're the only person that I know that knows
cool.
Black Pumas.
Because I'm cool.
You're cool. That's why. You're on the beat.
But isn't that strange that a band like Black Pumas isn't even bigger? They're almost like an underground. I don't want to call them an underground band, but they're not as widely known as they should be.
They got nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, but still, they're not.
And I get what you mean because they're so fantastically good.
Yeah, and I've never thought about it, but when you say I'm the only friend that you have on Instagram who is also following the Black Pumas, I've mentioned the Black Pumas to a lot of my musician friends, and not one of them has heard of them. So I guess that's where I get that from, that they're not as widely known as but then the Norwegian music scene is quite different from the American music scene.
I've introduced people to Black Pumas. I mean, for the last probably 3 or 4 months, and I don't think any of the people that I've shown any of their songs to have not liked it. You can play every song on their newest album on the radio.
Yeah.
Without, I mean, it would fit right in, and you could be a guitar lover. You love the music. You soul his and you James Brown. I mean, Eric. I can't remember his last name. Do you?
Oh gosh, no.
I'm sorry about that. He is absolutely amazing. His voice. He was busking in Austin before things started to happen.
I'm gonna look it up now because that bothers me that I cannot remember his full name. Let's see. There we go. The Black Pumas. Yeah, Eric Burton and Adrian Quesada.
Adrian, and he was Prince's guitarist
Yeah.
on tour,
How about
which
that?
is
Yeah. And that says a lot about his musicianship, because Prince has never had any bad musicians in his band.
black belt in every instrument possible.
Yes. Yes.
Prince had, and
Gosh, I miss him.
if
I
you're
miss
his,
Prince. Oh.
if you're his guitarist, then you should be pretty good. And,
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, they have to. His guitarist has to be able to play the parts that he created himself in the studio. Sometimes. Gosh, I miss Prince. Oh man, it breaks my heart that. Of course, we're going to hear new music. I think Prince is releasing an album at the end of this month.
Really?
His estate is released. Yeah, a whole new. What's it called? Is it called Welcome to America? I think, or yeah, I have to look that up. But he's coming with a full album of unreleased material at the end of this month, and that's good. But what breaks my heart is that knowledge that he will never create any new music because he's gone. Because
I feel that way with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling because you don't know. I don't know, but probably you didn't know Prince personally.
No.
But it still makes an impact when people like that pass away.
He sweated on me when he was here in Oslo in 2011.
Oh.
Snoopy and I were right there at the edge of the stage, and I was very surprised because in the floor space in front of most of these concerts at Oslo's Spectrum, they have the gate that is maybe sometimes as much as 10, 15 meters away from the stage, but the gate here was like you could reach out over the gate and touch the edge of the stage. So that's how close we were to him. And he came to the edge of the stage in front of Snoopy and I, and he was playing this killer guitar solo. And he did like this little spin move, and sweat flew off of him and landed on me. And I felt like a 12-year-old teenager, like a 15-year-old teenager in 1960 when the Beatles came to America.
Got a little bit of the Prince juice on you.
I got Prince juice on me.
Did you go back home and just play the guitar, and you could do like solos you couldn't do before?
Well, there must have been some pheromones or something in his sweat, because Snoop was extra lovable to me for a couple of days after that. So.
Oh, all right, okay.
So thank you, Prince. May you rest in peace.
There's something weird too about like when an idol of you, or if you meet or see a person, or you cross paths with a person that you've followed for a long time, and that means a lot to you.
Yes,
that's a very, very strange but very cool feeling to see. I remember the first time I saw Ed Sheeran on stage.
Yeah,
and he walked up there, and then suddenly he is Ed Sheeran standing 2 meters in front of me. I could shout now and heckle him, and he'll hear me if I shout out.
I've had a couple of those experiences. Of course, I've been to a lot of concerts, but the first time I got that real feeling of, wow, there he is, there they are, was when Neil Young came to Oslo Concert House, and I can't remember what year this was. Was it 2005 maybe? And it was just him, the way I like him best, solo acoustic.
Ooh, yeah.
And Snoopy and I were pretty much center stage, maybe 5. I think we were in the 6th row back. So we were fairly close to him. And it was the strangest feeling. It's like, oh my gosh, here he is. This man whose music I've been loving since almost before I could even talk. I've been following his music for so long. And there he was.
And it's not about celebrity either. It's about, like, for me as a musician, I know how much it takes to get to a point where they are. I could see another celebrity on the street. I live in Grünerløkka.
Yeah.
This is the most you see famous people everywhere. It's very unimportant to me.
Yeah.
Inspiring people. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, sitting there and seeing someone like Neil Young or Ed Sheeran that close up, and then you share that connection as a musician. You know what it took for you to get where you are, and then you can just multiply that by whatever, in terms of the success that musician has had. And it's a strange feeling. It's this weird feeling of inspiration, this feeling of motivation mixed with that sense of celebrity, that sense of accomplishment. It's just a weird mixture.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to wait to see when I work with Ed Sheeran. I'll ask him.
Wouldn't that be
if
cool?
he feels the same.
Wouldn't that be cool to open for him?
I couldn't even imagine that. I mean,
how about this?
I don't know.
How about this? You get a gig to open on a Scandinavian tour with him. So you have maybe 6 to 8 weeks with him, and you open for him every night. And then like halfway through, like maybe after 2 weeks of doing that, he sees how good you are. He appreciates you. And then he asks you every evening to join him for a song on stage.
Ed Sheeran, I need you to divorce your wife. I know you just had a child. I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry.
If you want me, then you want just all of me, just me. No, I mean, he's a big inspiration to me. Yes. I would do about it. I would probably do it for free, just to learn and get the experiences.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe one day. I think it's scary to think about even, because I have goals for the next 5 years. I have goals for the next 10 years, and I know what I'm gonna do after that as well. Yeah. And maybe yes, a little part of my plans.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. You never know, Fredrik. You never know where your art will lead you. You have this 5-year plan. I can tell you it's probably not going to happen the way you think. And I say that in a positive way. Things, better things than you ever expected may happen. I never, here I am. I've been talking about Neil Young and Prince. But to go back to Neil Young, I never imagined that I would ever get to work with one of his greatest producers, Elliot Mazer, who produced his Neil's Harvest album. I got to work with Elliot Mazer here in Norway. I had a 2.5 hour drive with him from Lars Voldsdal's studio in Spydeberg. And it was terrible weather, snow on the ground. It was crazy. So we were driving real slow, but that just meant that I had a longer drive alone, just me and Elliot Mazer from the studio and back to Drammen. Wow. I'll never forget that.
That's a very good drive.
I will never forget that. I mean, you want to talk about unexpected thing. I was going to say dreams come true, but this wasn't even a dream because I never expected it. I couldn't ever imagine that something like that would happen. And then all of a sudden it did happen. So that's where your art is going to take you. It's going to take you to experiences like that you never would have dreamed of. I can just see that happen. I'm telling your future. I can see things like that happening for you because that's the kind of talent you have.
As long as you continue working hard on a certain project, I don't think it matters really what it is, as long as you put in the hours.
But aren't people afraid to put in the hours? Isn't it such that, you're quite a bit younger than me, and I'm not one of these people who talks down to Generation Z and all that stuff. But I will say this. Younger people, like from your age and a little bit younger, they seem to have a different work ethic. They seem to not expect to have to work as hard to have success. What do you think about it? How do you feel when I say something like that?
I
don't want to sound like an old guy yelling at the kids, but it just seems to be that young people have a different work ethic, and a larger expectation for quick success without the work.
Well, when in your life did the internet really become big?
When did it become big? Well, if we say in the late, let's say in 1998, 99, I was 29, 30 years old. I was 29 years old in 1998. 29.
Just think about growing up today. If you're 8 years old and you already have a smartphone and you can go on TikTok every day and just scroll through and you use 6 hours a day
Yeah.
watching stuff.
Yeah.
You're not being creative. You're not outside. You go now. You don't even go to any school. You just sit at home, and then your mom and your dad tells you what to do, and then you do that for a couple hours, and then you're back on the phone. Or
It's pretty unhealthy.
I think it will. I mean, a lot of people are very creative on those platforms like TikTok. I think there's some positivity to it. I think a lot of musicians I have a lot to gain from TikTok and Instagram. And I mean, I'm on Reddit all the time. I need people to just stay on that page for me to have any viewers. But I think it's very easy for a lot of people to get into the mindset where, okay, I'm just going to do what I have to do, and then I'll escape into TikTok or
maybe that's
whatever,
what it is. It's an
social
escape.
media.
Maybe it's an escape for them. Maybe it is, they see that TikTok star or that YouTuber who's getting all of this attention and sometimes a lot of money, and they're not thinking about what it took to get there. Because as much as older people like to talk bad about YouTubers or TikTokers, there is a certain amount of creativity and work that has to go into that in order to be successful.
Yeah.
But maybe a lot of kids don't understand that.
The first time I ever played live here in Oslo, I was so nervous I couldn't stand up, and I had to get a chair because my feet they weren't supporting me anymore.
Yeah.
And I still chose to go back there and do it the next week as well.
That's pretty tough. That's inner
I wanted
strength
to
and
do
focus.
it. Yeah. I wanted to okay, what can I do to make my legs not shake?
Yeah.
So I can stand up and so that my set gets better. And you have to find all these things and try to, that's why I watch a lot of my streams over again to analyze and to find weak spots and try to correct them. Or I try to have some fluidity or whatever you say.
Sure, yeah.
But a set list is a set list. It needs to sound, first off, it needs to sound like the record.
Yeah.
And it also needs to sound more or less the same every time.
Yeah.
So people can repeat it and learn the lyrics and, want to listen to your music.
That's interesting the way you go back and analyze your performances. That's actually a very healthy thing to do. But I can't do it. I have never, oh gosh, it's been a long time since I performed music live, but when I was doing it and when I did have any video footage of it, I just couldn't watch it. I can't stand. And this podcast, as much as I speak, I never go back and watch or listen to my podcast. I just can't do it. If I get on TV, if I'm on the television, the news and stuff here, I cannot watch it. Can't do it.
Why?
I don't know.
You're like Johnny Depp. You never watched his movies.
I guess as much as I talk about having goals and thinking positive and being positive, obviously I have some sort of an issue because I can't bring myself to watch myself perform. Now, when I do stand-up, which I hope to get back to very soon, I record that. I record the audio on that, and that I can go back and listen to. And I do that, to reevaluate and rewrite my lines and things like that. But to watch... Do
you also listen to the audience, how the audience received it?
Yes, because I found that, I found this also as a musician performing, but maybe more so as a stand-up comedian, that I very often misinterpret the audience reaction.
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying some new material and I maybe stumble over the lines so it's not as funny as I know it could have been, my ears tell me, well, there's not very many people laughing. That was terrible. But then I find not all the time, but very often when I go back and listen, there were a lot of people laughing actually. So it's just my own mental process that is blocking out a part of that positive audience reaction.
Yeah.
And there's a lesson to be learned in there. You know, I'm first of all, it tells me I'm my own worst critic, but it also tells me something about confidence and self-image. You know, you can sit on stage as a musician, or you can stand in front of the mic as a stand-up comedian, and there's a lesson in your own self-evaluation that tells me anyway that I shouldn't be so hard on myself, because it's usually a better performance than I thought it was. Yeah. It shows me that I'm way too critical. I'm way too hard on myself. I shouldn't be my own worst critic. Somebody else should have that job of being my negative critic. I don't want to be that guy.
I'm pretty happy I do it though, because I get a lot. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's easier for me to be confident on stage if I know exactly what I'm doing.
Sure, absolutely.
And how it sounds to the people listening.
But see, that's a testament to how messed up I am, because I understand the value of that, of going back and reevaluating performances, but I still can't do it. Still can't do it. I can't stand, especially this TV stuff. Or you know, now that I've gone over to a video podcast, I just can't stand watching myself on video. Can't do it.
So when you're FaceTiming, you're not pushing your own face to have you as the big one, and then just your wife in the corner? No?
Nope.
Okay. No.
Can't do it.
I mean, confidence is the key word here. You want confidence if you're live anywhere.
But see, it's weird because while I'm doing a podcast or while I'm on TV, I'm very comfortable and I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm not feeling any insecurity, not at all, not in the slightest bit. But that insecurity comes if I am in a position to where I have to watch it afterwards. That's when the insecurity comes. Because then I'm afraid I'll see that I said something stupid, or I didn't make sense what I said, or I'm standing in a weird way, or I have snot running out of my nose while I'm on camera. So, you know, that's when all of those thoughts come. But in the moment, I'm very much there. I mean, to me, there's a therapeutic thing in performing, in being on the microphone or being on TV and expressing myself. But all of the insecurity comes afterwards.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Well, it's weird and mental is what it is.
Yeah. And also the thing is, now if I do make a mistake, I probably know it before I even did it. Because I know what leads up to a mistake. If there's a comment and then I just got prescription glasses, so now I can actually read them in front of me. Yeah. And I started thinking about that comment, and then where was I in this course now?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that messes up for me.
Yeah, no, I'm a mess when I can tell you what's going to happen on Saturday. There's going to be a thing on NRK about me. Like I said, they were filming me all day a couple days ago. Snoop? Hello? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be on TV, and my family will sit down. They'll turn on the television at when it's going to come on, and I'm probably going to get up and walk out of the room.
Yeah.
I won't be able to.
Watch it.
I just won't be able to watch it, and I know that.
Well, if that's your rule, then that's your rule. As long as it works for you, I guess that's fine.
It works for me. I think I'd be. I think I would be. Like I say, I'm already my own worst critic, and I think I would be even more critical if I were to watch something like that, because then all those thoughts of, oh God, why did you say it in that way? Or why did you? But my number one goal is to not have them have to text my Norwegian when they show. I'm so glad that they don't do that. You know, when you if you have a foreigner on TV and you have to text their thing, me and Snoopy always joke back and forth that, oh my gosh, I have to keep my Norwegian up so they never have to text my Norwegian. So.
No, because they'll be as surprised as I was the first time I heard you talk Norwegian in your accent. I mean, it's a very I don't think there are many Americans that know Norwegian in the accent that you do.
Yeah, there's that's something that I'm very proud of. I am so proud
You should be.
of my control of Norwegian, and that I learned it very quickly, and then I just keep expanding on it. So I'm very proud of that. Although there was a period over the last year where things got a little rough with my Norwegian because I hadn't been out much, and I've been doing as many podcast episodes as I have been doing, and those go in English, so that I was speaking very little Norwegian actually. And then I started to notice that it was getting bad if I was on the telephone with somebody, or actually one of the times on. It's about a month and a half ago. I was on Nyhetsmorgen, the morning broadcast of the news on NRK, and I really felt like I was struggling to express myself in Norwegian.
Do you talk in English at home?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have to, because and I really noticed this the other day when this film crew was here all day, so I was speaking Norwegian all day. And it's tiring. It's a mental exercise for me to speak Norwegian over a long period of time. So I figure when I'm at home, I want to relax. And plus, Snoopy wants to make sure that she still, keeps her English abilities up. So she wants me to speak English with her.
It's probably pretty good. If she talks English to you every day, it should be.
Well, yeah. How do I say it? Her English vocabulary is pretty good. She still struggles with pronunciation on certain things, but I think it's sweet. As I always tell her, I hope you never learn how to speak proper English. I love her accent. So.
Yeah, it's the same with me, because I talk, or I think in Norwegian, and I need to translate it in my head. So as we're talking now, I'm trying to
it's a mental
get into
process.
the English mindset.
Yeah,
just try to think in English.
And it would get tiring. It would probably get tiring, and you speak English very well. I mean, there's no issues there at all, but you would probably get a little tired if we had a 2, 3, 4 hour long podcast, or if you had to speak English all day long. It's a mental process that makes you a little bit tired.
Definitely. I was 16 when I moved to Cambridge in the UK. And Norwegian 16-year-olds are probably the English level is probably pretty good since we were on.
Sure.
But that was a big change to me to wake up and get your English breakfast, do everything in English, even. Some poor lady tried to teach me French in English, which I couldn't do when there was a Norwegian lady trying to teach me French. But
I never thought about that, learning a new language in Norwegian. How would I handle that? That's an interesting thing.
No.
Yeah.
What if you go to a course to learn Mandarin in Norwegian?
Yeah. Wow. Think about that.
That would be meta.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we talk about what we talked to each other like a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. And shame on us, by the way. We shouldn't let it go so long without speaking with each other, man.
No, but I'm thinking about that particular thing that I asked you for a lot of advice on.
Yeah, man, talk about that. I want to know how did that turn out? Where are you in that process now?
So big announcement. I don't think I have like tagged them in Instagram posts and stuff, but I have signed a deal with Cortado Records. Is the name of the imprint. It's an imprint of Compro Records.
Say the name of it again.
Cortado, like the coffee.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And you knew about this.
I did. Yeah.
John was one of the first people I talked to when I got the opportunity, and I wanted to know. I mean, I don't want to go in detail about the deal because I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but
Yeah, no, that's your personal, say whatever you're comfortable saying. It's an interesting story, and it was an interesting process. And I do want to say that I was honored that you came to me for guidance on that. I felt like, oh, yeah, somebody needs Uncle John's help here. It was really
that's right.
it was really an honor that you came to me, and I'm glad I could help out.
I think the most important part of one of the most important parts of trying to make it in the music industry is listening to people with more experience than you. And I'm very fortunate to be to have your number on my contact list.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's a sweet thing to say. Thank you for that. Yeah.
So this time for release on the 28th, it's with the record label, which is cool.
That?
It was a press release going out with my picture on it.
That's exciting.
And not that much has changed, to be honest, but I work with people now that wants me to succeed, which is awesome. And
it's that helping hand. It's that helping hand. It's that little lift forward, Yeah.
And not only, but it's also motivational. Yes. I know now I have more people depending on me doing good. So I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to train. I'm going to write more music, play more live, try to do everything in my power.
You can't see me smiling because you're not on a video feed, but I am smiling so big now to hear you talk about that. The importance of, you're a musician, you're an artist. And of course, you have to take care of your art. But in order to be in the best possible position to practice your art, there's that whole aspect of your physical health that is important. Gosh, I love hearing you say that.
And I'll tell you this, John, I haven't had a carbohydrate since Christmas. I have stopped drinking beer. I have stopped eating bread, rice, pasta, sugar. Everything that's good. I'm mostly just eating proteins. I went keto for a while. It worked perfectly.
Yeah.
But I need some greens. I need to spice it up a bit. So now I'm mostly just eating like proteins, eggs, and like a salad or something on the side.
Sure. No, but if you throw in some, I call them the earth vegetables, things like I'm sorry, not potatoes, but like radishes, carrots, even broccoli. If you throw that into your keto diet, it's going to give you more of a feeling of being, well fed. It's going to fill your stomach out, so you'll be less hungry, and it will actually give you more energy, and it's not going to put a single ounce of body fat on you. But if you just add those things.
The best thing about the keto diet is that my energy level is so. It doesn't peak. It doesn't go down. Yeah. It's just very, very linear the whole day. So earlier, if I had a big lunch and maybe 2 hours afterwards, I just crashed and I had to have a nap for an hour, and then I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I didn't used to train either, but I've started running because I think that's
wow.
So now I've been at my mother's place for a couple months now, just nothing to do, and also I can stay there, and they have a treadmill. I've been using the treadmill.
Nice.
Yesterday I went out running in the rain with my friend, which is running in the rain is fine. It wasn't too much. It was just perfect where it kept our body temperatures down. Yeah. We can just run forever.
Yeah. So what is it that made you have this newfound focus on your physical health? Did you have a conversation with someone, or is this just something that you kind of fell into of your own accord?
I was pretty active before the pandemic, not training, but just I walk everywhere, and I always had a place to be. I was always on the go. I didn't eat particularly good or whatever, but after stuff closed again, I was in my room in the apartment, watching television, eating pizza,
Yeah.
gaining weight, and also uh, I started struggling with my mental health.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Um, so I went back home. It went so far I had to go see a doctor.
Ah, really?
Um,
Really?
yeah, it was pretty. I have no problem talking about it. I just don't know what to say because I know a lot of people has it worse than me. Um, but it's been a year of up and downs, and that was definitely one of the low points. I feel
Yeah.
much better now though
Yeah.
after I started um, being productive again. I think that's
Well,
the most important part.
I think what happened over the last year is that a lot of people with relatively mild mental health issues, things that maybe they just accepted and lived with, it kind of got magnified during the pandemic.
Mm.
Like I said earlier, I've been doing just fine, with the isolation and less contact. But I tell you, it has really affected some people. Some people have really been damaged by that, or like I say, the mental issues that they had before the pandemic have just been magnified. So I think that's happened to a lot of people, and that says a lot about you that you'll speak on that. It's kind of like me sharing my struggles and everything. I'm not afraid to talk about it either because you never know who you might help just by talking about it.
I was very afraid to talk about it for a long
Yeah,
time though, and
sure, sure.
it kind of got. I mean, I think people started to notice it, and yeah, the best possible solution is to try to get help. And the first time I went to the doctor's office, I wasn't. Uh, I almost didn't talk to him at all because I was very uncomfortable in the situation. But it made me realize that now I have a doctor also trying to fix me. Shouldn't I also try to fix myself?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's this thing.
I,
No, I was going to say it's this thing when you get an ally, someone who is
mm,
on your side, who is wishing you the best. It kind of becomes ridiculous that you yourself don't wish yourself the best and do things to make yourself better. So that outside assistance can very often motivate a person to start assisting themselves.
definitely.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky here in Norway to have three. Is it psychiatrists?
Psychiatry, mental health. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mental health access. Yeah.
yeah. If you go
Mental
to
health
your
care.
doctor,
Yeah.
yeah, if you go to a doctor and talk to them,
Yes.
you'll get it for free,
Yeah.
which is necessary, but also very. I I don't know where I would have been if I didn't get help 3 4 months ago. I think I would be in a very different situation. I don't think there will ever be a record deal. I don't think there will ever be a song. Uh,
Let me tell you
yeah.
something. I maybe I should have told you this at the time, but I've thought since then that when you and I were talking about this contract,
Mhm.
this deal that you had been presented with, I got the feeling that that you were depressed at that time.
I think it was around that time.
Yes, and I, yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But what I've been thinking from time to time since then is that I should have said directly to you that I think you're depressed, and I should have asked you if you were, and then asked you if there was anything I could do to help. But what I did instead was just try to vocalize my support for you in general and vocalize my appreciation of your talent and whatnot. I don't know if that helped. I don't know how that affected you, but how would you have reacted if I would have confronted you at that time and said, "Hey man, you seem to be a little
Yeah.
depressed."
I mean, I had a hard time talking to my parents about it,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Would you have
I
distanced
mean,
yourself?
my relationship with my parents are very, very good. I love them both to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
We always say we talk about everything. Nothing is a secret.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, it's I don't know what to say because if you were to confront me, it will probably be a positive thing, but you never know how a person in that situation will react.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. You don't know how a person and the reaction to that kind of a confrontation can be wildly different from person to person. Um, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter because here you are, and you say you're feeling better, and you know you have this great deal. You've got a new single coming. You know, you and I get to talk again. You know,
It's looking better and better every
yeah,
day, and
yeah,
the sun is staying up for longer. I
yeah.
was
That means a
riding
lot.
around in the car yesterday at the 10 in the evening,
Yeah,
and it was still light outside. I'm looking out at the park outside the apartment right now, and the trees are green.
yeah.
There's a lot of, I mean, beautiful girls walking past here right now. I think that helps pretty
I
good.
got to tell you, there are some, and I don't want my people here in Drummond to get upset with me, but there are some beautiful, good looking people. So many men and women walking around Oslo, and they look like they came right out of a magazine.
Scandi style is just trending now, isn't it? It's gonna be
Yeah,
bigger and bigger.
yeah, yeah.
I think if you really want to see, I mean, I think Denmark and Sweden, it's on another level. Here
Uh, nah, I
we like.
disagree. I
Oh,
disagree
you
with
do?
you.
Uh,
People always talk about Swedish women. I'm sorry, I see a lot more. I mean, I married a Norwegian woman. There's a reason for that. That's where the
yeah,
best.
right.
That's where the best looking Scandinavian women are.
Well, I'll
So
take it. I'll
yeah,
take
you
it.
know. No, there's some
No,
beautiful people walking around in Oslo though. They just look. The people there look so. It's different there. There's a certain glow that people have in Oslo. They're more. They seem more happy, more satisfied, less stressed. They're in better shape. They're just more. They seem to be in a better place in Oslo. I
and
noticed that.
yesterday was also the whole city was on another wavelength because yesterday you were able to go to a bar again.
That's right. They opened up. Yeah,
Only a week ago or so, or
it was
2 weeks.
closed. Yeah, yeah.
Everything was
Yes.
closed. Now you
Yeah.
can go clothes shopping. You can go have a beer in the
Well,
sun. You
the
can go
last
eat
time
whatever.
the last time I was in Oslo was when I did stand up there in June. Well, I've been to Oslo, you know, the different appointments, but to actually be in the city, in the streets, was in June last summer, and it was creepy. I mean, it was so quiet and nobody out on the streets. Um, I took the train. I took the train into Oslo. Nobody was on the train.
Nobody.
It was just weird. It was a weird situation.
I'm used to. I live right in the middle of one of the most populated places in Oslo, where there's a lot of young people, a lot of bars, and
Yeah,
yeah, you know the scene that you're in the car.
yeah, yeah.
Um, there's always been a noise coming from the outside. Now
Yeah.
there's nothing anymore. You can walk the streets and you can hear loud music from
That's strange, isn't it?
apartments,
That's so
but you never
strange.
hear anything from the outside.
No,
And
no.
and
How far are you? How far away from Steinar's place are you? How long does it take you to walk there?
it's 2 minutes
Yeah. Okay.
probably.
So you're right. Right
It's in
there.
the same street, same street.
Oh.
Just walk
Okay. Yeah.
upwards, and then the first park.
Yeah.
I doxed myself
Okay.
right
Yeah,
now.
and
And
that
I
is a
live.
very populated and very busy. There's always a lot of activity there. So yeah. Again, the last time I was there, and to see nobody walking in the streets, not only a car or two from time to time, but no people in the streets. It was weird. Very weird.
I think that's too. And that's another reason why I didn't have such a great year this year because I'm used to being very social.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the apartment I live in is fine, but the room isn't very big. And now I need to stay in here all the time. So before I'm almost never home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's certain factors that contribute. But yeah.
I keep thinking somebody is coming into my studio, but it's I have a big porch just on the other side of the wall to my studio, and I have the glass door open, so the air pressure is opening and closing my door. I finally figured that out. I've been looking over my shoulder every 5 seconds here because I keep thinking someone's walking in my studio.
Coming into.
Anyway.
No.
It feels good to hear that you're in such a good place. Like I said, it's been a long time since we spoke, and we shouldn't let that happen again. That we take so long time before we speak again. But it's so good to hear you're doing well. It's good to hear that you have this single. What's the name of the single again?
It's called "Stay on My Mind."
Stay on My Mind. Available everywhere.
Available everywhere.
From Friday on.
Yeah, Friday on. It's most acoustic song I've ever done. Just me and a guitar, almost no reverb at all.
Man,
even in the first word. And then Anna comes in with her beautiful voice in the chorus and in the second verse. And yeah.
What's Anna's last name so people can find her?
Let me just find the Instagram handle. I am Anna Music.
Yeah. You know what? You can send me that when I post this episode, I'll put that in the description so people can get to her directly.
Yeah. She's very, very good, and the producer as well is the same producer we talked about in the 2 previous episodes. Håvard.
Yeah.
You know, I love that guy. He's the best, and it's been very fun to have more people involved in the process. Now there's people working for promotion and
Well, I tell you, it's an honor that you come on my podcast to make this announcement about your single coming out. So I appreciate that. And all of these people who are now pushing for you to get you out there, pulling for you and lifting you higher is a sign of the talent that you have, but it's also a sign, something that speaks to your personality, who you are as a person. You're just a good guy, and people tend to want you to succeed in all ways, and that says a lot about your personality.
Thank you. I mean, I always have a hard time taking compliments, but I really appreciate it, John, and there is a lot of very nice comments coming my way. If I stream, 99% of them are positive. People are very, very supportive.
Yeah.
It just takes time to build a career and to build a portfolio where
it does.
Because there's a lot of people doing the same stuff as me, or trying to do the same, or trying to reach the same goals.
Sure, but there's a lot of there's a lot of space out there as well. There's room for you. You know, you've got you're young, you've got a lot of songs in you, and you certainly know how to perform them. So putting all that together, it's just a question of time. It's a question of content. You know, as you write more songs, it's more of a testament that people can see what you're doing and what you're all about. And sure, there's a lot of talented people out there, but there's room for even more. So you're going to do well. You're already doing well. You're going to just do better. I'm
going to continue either way. If I do bad or do good, that in the end, it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to just continue.
Still going to do it. Yeah.
Making music anyways.
And isn't that what it's all about? That immediate pleasure that you get when you get to exercise on the microphone with your voice and that guitar.
I that's my meditation. Okay,
yes.
So if you're a monk and you someone told you you're not allowed to meditate anymore, you would be pretty pissed off, I think.
Yeah.
I need the meditation. I need to do it. I need to sharpen the sword just to like keep it ready for battle when things open again.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, your time is coming. You're gonna. There's things gonna. Like I said, Uncle John can tell the future, and I see nothing but success for you. So.
Well, let's hope so. Maybe I'll win the lottery or something. We'll see.
Well, if you ever need a security expert, give me a call.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the process.
Security.
You were talking about health earlier, and I'm in the process of getting back into shape. I've had all these operations and that unexpected neck operation in February, but now it's time to get back into shape. So
you're exercising?
As good as I can. It's mostly a lot of walking, and I'm adjusting my diet. Well, when it comes to my diet now, I'm fasting. I'm doing long-term fasting. And I'm talking like 48 to 72 hour fasts where I don't eat anything.
No water as well, or you drink?
On some of those days, I will go with no water. I've done an 86 hour total fast. It's called a dry fast. It's where you don't eat or drink anything. So I've done that before, and it's quite effective. And I think I
do intermittent fasting. I do now. So I have
intermittent fasting is a good thing. Yeah. But this is
I do 14 or 16 hours. I think 16 hours.
But this is intermittent fasting on hyperdrive.
Yeah. Does it work though? Are you enjoying the fast or the results of them?
Yes, because I've done it so many times before. I'm used to it. It's like and it's real normal for me to go 16 hours without eating regardless. So I feel the first couple of hours after maybe 16 hours, like when I wake up in the morning for 3 hours, I'll be super hungry. But then I just find an activity, or I'll do a podcast or some work in relation to my podcast, or I'll do some writing, and that hunger feeling goes over, and then I'll be fine for another day, So
just eat some cotton, have a cigarette, do the model lunch.
I should start smoking crack. That'll help.
Yeah, get some energy in you. I think if you do crack, then I think you'll be able to run. You can run and run and run and lose all the weight you want to.
Well,
you need to go to the dentist afterwards also.
That's probably. No, but I'll tell you, fasting long term like that, your body starts to produce more growth hormone and testosterone, which then raises your energy level. Surprisingly enough, if you fast long enough, you will actually start to get more energy.
And again, do you lose muscle though?
No. When you fast again and you start to produce, when it's a total fast over, and I'm talking long term, like 36 hours plus, your body will also start to produce, like I said, more testosterone, more growth hormone. And what does testosterone and growth hormone do? Build muscle. So there's been studies done where people are actually building muscle while they're fasting. Now, that doesn't mean that you can train like a wild man, because then you're going to break down muscle and you're not going to have the nutrition to build that muscle back up. But if you adjust your training, for example, I fasted for I had a couple weeks of 72-hour fasts. Fast for 72 hours, do a refeed, go right back and fast again. And during that time, I was setting some personal records with the amount of weight I was lifting for my powerlifting training.
Oh, okay.
So that right there, that's the testament to the fact that you can actually, because of that extra production of growth hormone and testosterone naturally in the body while fasting, you can actually build your strength and your muscle mass.
It feels so good when I start seeing or feeling like the changes in my body.
Yeah.
If I didn't run, I don't think I ran for the first month or two on keto.
Yeah.
And then I tried running after I lost like 7 or 8 kilos, and it felt so good
It's a
because
different life,
I can
literally. It's
I can
literally a different
move
life.
my
Yeah.
body in a different way.
Yes.
The hills doesn't feel that
Yeah.
challenging anymore. I
Yeah.
can uh, I can keep the pace up with my friends. I can follow them. I mean, everything is better
Yeah.
except for the 20 minutes during dinner time.
Yeah. No,
I'm a
I know exactly what that's all about. I got in horrible shape over this past year, and it's not because of COVID, but it's because of these operations that I've had,
yeah.
and feeling a little bit down because of that. So I just kind of I didn't train, um, and I definitely didn't eat right. So just after a couple of days now of having a new focus and deciding that now I'm going to get back into shape, I feel like a totally different person. Totally different
operations like
person.
that. Operations like that will screw you up though.
These
If you
really
can't
screwed me up.
move,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
I have a close family member who had issues with his back for a long time. And he was in shape before it happened, and he had 4 operations on his
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And well, in addition to being a man in his 50s,
Yeah.
doesn't help very well when you then start eating as you did before, just
Right.
without
Exactly.
uh, moving yourself.
Exactly.
Uh,
Well,
So
but it helps when you're in shape before something like that happens. I mean, if I wasn't as big and strong as I was before these last couple of operations, I would really be a mess. I mean, I'm in bad shape now, but I would be so much worse off if I wasn't in shape before. So,
I,
and
I want to ask you about the weightlifting.
sure.
You did it professionally.
Yeah, I have the Norwegian record in so-called utstyrsfritt, squat, raw squat. I have the
Ah,
Norwegian record. I got that when I was 50 in
damn.
2019.
How much was it?
335.5 kilos.
Oh my God.
And that right there, and this is okay. This is in the middle of all. I've had like 7 or 8 shoulder operations, and this neck operation. So this was after what, or this was right before my most recent shoulder. So I'd had maybe 6 or 7 shoulder operations at that time. I could barely bench the weight of just the bar. That's 20 kilos. I could barely
Do
do
you,
that, but
you think
I got that squat record though.
you think um, the issues you're having is due to the weightlifting?
I'm sorry, say that again. I couldn't hear you.
You think the issues you're having are
No,
comes from the weightlifting?
no.
Do you
What
think it's
happened?
separate?
No, what happened was when I was training for the for the U.S. National Championships back in 2015.
Mhm.
Then while I was training, some knucklehead in the gym bumped into the bar. I was benching like 210 kilos or something like that during training,
Yeah.
and this guy runs into the bar and knocked it out of my, and I got this horrible twist in my shoulder, and that was the
Ooh.
start of all my problems with my shoulder. And since then, uh, I haven't. Well, for example, at that powerlifting meet where I got the squat record, I got
Yeah.
335.5 in squat. But of course, in powerlifting, you have to do squat, bench, and deadlift. I had the
Ah.
highest squat, but the lowest bench. Even the ladies benched more than me. I benched just the bar and the 2 collars on the bar, which is 25 kilos. That was
Oh,
my
of
bench
course. But because you were injured.
because of my shoulder. Yeah.
What's your max on the bench press?
I've benched 535 pounds. Let's see. Let me do a quick conversion. How many kilos is that? Let me pull up my little conversion app, which is
Five
very
hundred and 35. Or
pounds. Yeah, pounds. Let me pull up this
uh,
conversion app, which is always good to have when one wants to brag about how strong one is. 242.8 kilos. That's my best bench.
That's I didn't know that was even humanly possible to achieve that.
No, people are benching a lot more than that these days. Well, but then that's, of course, there's some natural bodybuilders, drug-free bodybuilders who are benching that much and more, but not too many are benching more than that without the use of performance-enhancing drugs. But
what they use is like testosterone and steroids.
Yeah, different stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But I've always trained drug-free. I've always competed in powerlifting in the IPF, which is a drug-free and drug-tested organization. I just don't, and I don't have anything against people who want to use that stuff, but just don't do it in an organization that is supposed to be drug-free. Go to other organizations that allow that, because a lot of people do cheat and try to get into some of these competitions where it's supposed to be drug-free, and I can't stand that. I just don't have any room for that. I can't stand when people cheat like that.
Well, if you're competing, then that's a whole different thing. If you're just if you're taking testosterone and steroids to build your body for yourself.
Sure, there is a therapeutic use for that some people can get benefit from, but in the IPF, which I compete in, it's just not allowed. If you take any kind of growth hormone or steroids, no matter what the reason is, then you are banned from competing in the IPF. And if you get caught through a drug test, you will be kicked out. So I like it that it's that strict. And again,
it should be.
And again, if you need growth hormone, extra growth hormone, or steroids for whatever, be my guest and do it. But just don't compete in an organization that's drug free.
I don't really care what people
no, that's their choice.
Do generally, as long as it doesn't. I mean,
I don't. I have nothing.
If it doesn't hurt anyone else, then it should be fine.
Yeah, I have nothing against people who use those things. I just don't like it when they claim to be drug free and compete in a drug free organization, because that's cheating. That's not fair. It's cheating.
Can I ask you a question? Hopefully, this won't be taking this is going a whole different ways.
Sure.
But there's a big thing in Norway the last month about rusreformen.
Yeah.
You heard about that? The new policy for drugs.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah. So what they wanted to do was make user amounts of now illegal drugs not legal, but what's it called? Not illegal either. It's decriminalized or whatever.
Right, decriminalized. Yeah.
What do you think about that? I know you've been in a situation.
I think it's a good thing.
They're not going to do it though.
I'm saying I think that if that concept of decriminalizing drugs, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because to treat addiction as if it's a crime, I believe is wrong.
And they've tried it for 50 years and it doesn't work. People are still dying of overdoses. There are hundreds of people dying of overdoses in Norway every year.
Addiction is a health issue, most often a combination of physical health issues and mental health issues. Addiction is not something that should be labeled as a crime. So I think it's a good thing, the whole concept of decriminalizing drugs. Look what they've done in Portugal. They decriminalized drugs, and I can't remember the actual facts and figures. I've spoken about this on my podcast before, but addiction and death from overdose has fallen. I'm sorry, I don't want to misspeak. I don't know if addiction numbers have fallen, but death from overdose has fallen incredibly. It's literally saving lives. And so then I would imagine that because many lives are being saved, there's also some people who are being successfully treated for their addictions.
Yeah.
So to me, the decriminalization of drugs is a good thing.
To me, it sounds like a reasonable thing to do, and it makes me almost mad when this political party that was the deciding factor. Decided not to
Yes.
to have the new reform.
Yeah. They're not
I think
thinking.
based probably on a lot of votes for the next election.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. They're not thinking long term. They're thinking short term. They're thinking, how do we have what standpoint on this rewriting of our drug laws do we have to take in order to have a successful election? Well, now they've made their decision, and I think that's very short thinking. That's very selfish thinking. It's not long-term thinking at all, and it's definitely not in the interest of those people who are dying of their addictions.
No, and in the U.S., the state is earning a lot of taxes, aren't
Yes.
they? On
taxing marijuana like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why aren't Norway, as a progressive country, oil nation that we are, why aren't we taking trying to maximize profit from it as well? Because you don't need to walk far outside of my apartment to smell that people are still smoking it. People are still using whatever. There's a bridge just 200 meters from here, right, where we do stand up, where people sleep under that bridge because they started doing heroin and then they're in and out of prison and they have no money. They have a lot of debt because
it's sad because it doesn't have to be that way. Norway has the funds to properly help these people with their addictions and to treat drug use as a health issue instead of a crime issue.
We use billions and billions of Norwegian kroners every year just on roads and new bike paths and stuff. You can... 260 people die of an overdose in Norway every year. I think that's more important than me.
It's terrible. That's a terrible number.
Because it's a very easy fix too.
I was just going to say.
I'm not saying the number won't be at zero, but it will be very, very.
It won't be 260 either. You know, it's a terrible number to be able to recite. It should not. That's not what that number should be. Norway has the financial means to take care of this. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take an attitude shift, and it's going to take a shift of funding. They are going to have to put the money in different places than where they're putting it now. And they can do it, but again, they're looking for that popular decision to make so that they can continue to have a good election cycle. That's
everything that's wrong about the world.
Yeah. Oh, man.
When the bureaucracy comes in front of the human life.
But I think people are getting tired of that. I think
more and more.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some changes. I think we're going to see some significant changes in the way politics are run, and we're going to see it in our lifetime. I'm going to live longer than you, by the way. I've decided that.
You have decided? Okay. I'm going to be in an ice chamber, and then I'll... So in 200 years, when they have the technology to bring me back, I'll be back, baby. I'll be there.
I want to be one of them guys that lives like 105 years old, and I still have my head straight, and I can still speak, clearly and intelligently, and I'm still physically active and not laid up in an old folks' home somewhere. I want to be one of those guys.
You think when a person decides that, okay, when I'm almost dead, I'm going to freeze my body, and then hopefully I'll be alive again in 200 years. Do you think they take into consideration that everyone thinks you're an idiot for the next 200 years, and then when you actually wake up, you're not the idiot anymore, but everyone else that thought you were an idiot are dead? So... I don't know. This is stand-up material. I'm gonna write something.
It is stand-up material. It's. I had a bit. I probably shouldn't reveal it here. No, I'll reveal it here. I had a bit that I had written, and I never got to use it. Things shut down. But I was at the gym one day, and I saw this guy. And this isn't the bit, but this is what inspired me to write this bit. I saw this guy. He was an older guy, maybe in his late 60s, early 70s. And he just had this look of confusion on his face. And he was dressed like people in this, like what my parents used to dress like in the 70s. He had like these white socks pulled like halfway up his leg. And he had these real short shorts that came, not even halfway down his leg. He was dressed really weird. And I'm like, that guy looks like he just woke up from a coma and went straight to the gym. And he's confused about how much. And I wrote a whole thing about what things would be like for me as a black man. Okay, there's the twist. As a black man, if I had fallen into a coma in modern Norway and then come out of that coma after like 15, 20 years, what would things be like? Yes. So
I guess it's different from 15 years ago to now.
Well, I can tell you, I came here to live in 2002, and it is definitely a different Norway now than it was back then. Definitely.
People are more open and
yeah, people. Well, okay, let me talk about that a little bit. Yes, some people are more open, but other people are more closed. I talked about this with NRK. There are some Norwegians, I think there's way too many Norwegians, who feel threatened by immigrants who are coming to Norway. And that Norway is becoming more brown. I mean, what is it though? It's only maybe 2% of Norway is black or brown. And I'm thinking,
I don't know.
No, that's roughly what it is. Maybe 2%. And I'm thinking, do Norwegians actually fear that 2% is going to ruin this strong, ancient culture that is Norway? Don't they believe more in what Norway is and what Norway stands for? I don't understand that fear.
No.
That they feel like Norway is going to be ruined by these new immigrants and these, second and third generation black and brown people in Norway. I don't understand the fear of that.
I don't understand why.
There's two things.
I don't take anyone that if you were to say something racist to me about another person or in front of me, let's say someone is a racist towards you in front of me, I'll be the first one to be like, dude, shut the fuck up, because I don't understand why people will treat other people differently based on the color of their skin.
It's totally irrational. It really makes no sense. I challenge anyone to justify their racism to me. I don't think anyone can do it. You can't have a logical argument about it.
No, there's no logical argument. And that makes me, like, if you're racist, then I don't consider your meaning in any aspect of life to be worth anything.
No.
So if I know if you're wrong at that, then what other life decision have you taken?
Probably wrong about a lot of things. Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people.
I was going to say that's not to take away their humanity. They're still a human being, and they deserve, they deserve what all human beings deserve as far as compassion.
Do they though? Do they? Should we just?
I can't totally write off a raging racist. I feel like there's something that can be said or done or shown to them, or some experience that they can have that can turn them away from that darkness. Maybe that's a hippie optimist that lives inside of me, but I feel like I will engage a person like that in conversation if they're willing to do it, and for as long as it lasts, because like I say, they can't come with anything rational. But my hope would be that I could say something or do something or trigger something in their mind that will cause them to change their ways.
No, that's a very good thought, but do you really believe that a person, not to throw all racists under the same, they can't be very intelligent, can they?
Yes, because they can be quite intelligent at times, but they have something. Well, look, I've said this before. I don't believe that there is a true racist out there. I believe that every person who is racist knows in their heart of hearts that they're being an idiot.
Yeah.
I believe that they understand that they can. You could see a Klansman in the States, white sheets and everything, but if you look at his shoes, he's wearing Air Jordans.
Yeah.
A black man,
Yeah.
and you can point that out to them, and unless they are a true imbecile, they will understand that they're being stupid. So what I'm saying is I believe that most racists know that they're being illogical. Most racists know that it's wrong to be racist, but there's something about being that being that racist that they accept. There's something about that gives them comfort.
I know a lot of people are very afraid of change.
Well, there you go. Afraid of change, or maybe they've been abused their entire life and told they were worthless, so they need to feel better than. And how do you feel better than? Well, by logging into this racist ideology that the white race is the superior race, and then I'm part of this group now. Now I'm
you log onto your Facebook account. This is what you do in the Corona racists. They go onto Facebook and they find a news article that they don't agree with, and they write something about someone's skin color without it even being anything to do with the article.
Exactly.
They are
See, and I think people like that are looking for comfort. They need to feel secure. They feel insecure about themselves, about their family situation, about their background. So they need to feel better than somebody. And, look at these minorities. Look at these black and brown minorities. I can log into this. I can get in line with this racist ideology so that I feel better about myself by making them be the mud race, by them being the ones who are ruining our society and so on. I truly believe that a lot of racists have those types of reasons for being a racist, which then, if you follow the logic, there can't be very many people who are truly racist. It's basically just a pillow to soften something in their lives.
Yeah. People always want control. I don't know. It's
they want
to me, it's always like a meaningless thing to discuss, because you know that you're right in this discussion, and I know that I'm on the right side of history.
Yeah.
There's nothing to discuss. Why? I mean, there are only one thing to say, and it's wrong.
Sure. And I'm not so naive as to believe that I can change, that I can absolutely change a racist's mind. But there is some hope in me that they can be enlightened, and that's why I don't write them off. I want to have someone who thinks that way on my podcast. I would love to have a discussion on my podcast, but I can't get anyone to come on. And that just tells me...
A racist person?
Yes, yeah. But that just tells me that they don't believe in their own ideology.
Yeah.
Because if you did, you would come on and shout it out to the 5 people who listen to my podcast.
You can probably reach out to, like, Sion. There are some organizations in Norway with... scarily a lot of members. They have they go in front of the parliament building and scream, and everyone takes pictures and laugh. And I bet one of them will be able to come on your podcast.
But you know why I don't have one of them on? Because those are the ones that will just repeat they'll open their little pamphlet and just repeat that. I want the average person in the street, somebody like you and I. The only difference is that they believe this type of ideology. That's the kind of person I want. Because it's
a good sign that it's very hard to find.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it is.
You don't want to be, I can just call him then.
Can you imagine if I put a Facebook post out, I'm looking for a racist to come talk, and I look out my window and there's 50 people lined up waiting.
Please, if you're a racist, contact me.
Oh, God. I guess I should be happy they haven't. So. Listen, Fredrik, I have to round this off. I have Snoopy out there waiting for me. Snoopy is off work for a few days now, so I get to get to torment her and trouble her for
a long weekend.
Yeah, a long weekend.
Very good.
But listen, I really, wow, look at us. We put in an hour and 49 minutes so far.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Very good.
To wind things up, tell people again the name of your single and when it comes out and where they can find it. Go.
Spotify tomorrow, or whatever platform you use. Actually, you can search for my name, Fredrik Walmann. You can search for "Stay on My Mind." That's the new single that comes out on the 28th of May, 2021. Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. I think if you like music that's easy to listen to and it's very organic, then I think you'll like this next song as well.
There you go. I know I'm gonna like it. I know what you do, and without having heard this song before, I know I'm gonna like it. I knew I was gonna enjoy having this conversation with you, man. It's these kind of conversations that make my life better. So thank you for that, Fredrik.
Likewise. Yeah. This is therapy.
Yeah. Stick around, Fredrik. Don't hang up. Let me just say goodbye to my viewers and listeners. Yeah, Fredrik Walmann, everybody. Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for those of you watching or listening, please subscribe. Please engage in the conversation. There's always a comment section, whether it's on social media or on YouTube. Engage, subscribe, spread the word. Let's have a conversation. Let's help each other along. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt at all. Quite the opposite. It makes life a little bit easier. Bye, everybody. Ooh.